All right, I don't remember if I did an intro last time, but we're here with Ev. How would you introduce yourself?
Ev Bravado. I guess my government's kind of like phased
You
out.
don't have to tell me that if you don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah, but Ev Bravado.
All right,
So,
and then where are we?
we're in the Garment District at an undisclosed location, but the Who Decides War headquarters.
How long you guys been here?
We've been there for a little while. Friends who know us know like the past situation where we were.
Yeah.
We used to throw parties there, like, you know, it's like a hangout. This is more a
never-
quasi-corporate.
Invited me to those parties.
Sorry.
Well, I have a bunch of questions for people who don't know your background because I haven't seen a ton of interviews from you. Most people who are going to be watching this know Murder Bravado, know about your clothes. But
Yeah.
how long have you been like designing? When did you get into it?
I started designing like in high school, my senior year. That was 2011. So it's been like, do the math, like 14 years now. My dad's a tailor. Him and my uncle, they had a tailor shop in Long Island. I was there since the age of 5 till about like 9, 10.
Did they like put you to work when you were a kid?
I had one job, was to yell when customers came. So it was like, okay, whenever a customer comes in, just say customer. But nah, my dad never wanted me to sew. He was like, focus on the business and like make something of yourself. But it came to a point where I had to learn how to sew because I didn't want to tell him like what I wanted.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it. And it wasn't a thing where I was like, all right, I need this incredibly detailed jean to be darned and repaired in all these places. I'm not gonna sit here with you for an hour if you could just teach me how to do it. So
Was this when you were in high school?
yeah, this is like maybe my second year or third year of college. I started sewing.
So, like when you first started sewing, you didn't get any hands-on lessons from here. It was more just like observing and doing it yourself. Or like,
It was kind of both. It was a point where I had to learn the fundamentals of a machine. And like even now, I'm not the best sewer in here, like probably the worst. But if I need to get something done,
like,
I'll get it done.
Is there a lot of times where you're just like, I can't like put this idea into words. I just need to like show you guys and do it myself, or you kind of like past that?
I think we're past that because the team that I have, we're all from like the same era. We all are influenced by or were like brought up on the same thing, so they get it.
Everyone kind of sees the same vision.
Yeah, everyone gets it, which is, I'm blessed to have the staff that I do and the partner that I do, Taylor, who's not here at the moment. We've cultivated a family and a community that, you know, they know what's up.
Do you enjoy the business side of things and like try to spearhead that stuff, or do you try to like delegate it now and focus more on design?
They say if you don't sweat the little things, it become like big problems.
That's the fucking truth.
We're at a place now, myself and Taylor, where we let people do their jobs. The business side is cool. Like I'm on emails all day, unfortunately. I step away to like, you know, come out here and get inspired and get out of that like wormhole that is
Remember, it's
Gmail.
not all emails. And
Yeah.
Just like, yeah. Are you guys doing any production here, like, or is it all just kind of like sampling?
Mostly sampling. We do a lot of like the bespoke like furniture stuff here as well. When we like launch that, that'll be like all in New York.
Is that not launched yet?
No, there's a lot going on with the business. We just want to focus on what's working. We don't want to like overextend.
But you still have ideas that you want to like.
And I want to do it. I personally love furniture. I love creating the space that I'm in.
Yeah.
So I want that to be like a translated thing. You know, if someone has a special order, you can reach out.
Yeah.
You know, we'll do it.
sure.
So right now it's just more of like a upholstering type of thing. Throw pillows. We just did a beanbag, which I could show you.
Yeah. This is crazy.
It's all made out of upcycled leather motorcycle jackets.
Like vintage ones?
Yeah.
This is fucking crazy.
So we did this in-house.
So for something like this, did you like source the beanbag and then build the skin around it?
So it's just like we get the beanbag and then make a pattern of the shell, and then we place everything, and we do it in here.
Fire.
So.
All right, something that I actually was like genuinely curious about before I came in is like the stained glass window motifs that you use is like such a strong design language for y'all. What was the initial like reference or thought process behind that?
It was our second show that we did in Paris, which was like 2019. It was this piece of art that we took and we made it into like a patch. Myself and Taylor, we were just drawn to it. It's like, okay, let's like actually use this more. So the next season that we actually did, we used it on a pair of jeans and it just like took off.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we need to take this and make this like a focal point within the DNA of the brand. That was pretty much it at that time, and I feel like it has the potential to be timeless. So it's just fostering that energy and not playing it out or taking it to a level where people are like, oh, it's just whatever.
I mean, when you initially started the brand, did you guys want to have something that was your signature thing, or did it just kind of happen organically and you're like, when you saw it, this was it?
I mean, we were always looking for it.
Yeah.
And I tell people who are designing all the time or in any type of creative line of work, very few times you're gonna have that motif or like brand identifier at the first minute you start. So it might take a few seasons. Like even like the swoosh wasn't what it was today. It was called something else. There has to be like evolutions before you find what actually sticks. And once we found that it's stuck, we're like, okay, this is it.
Run with it.
And this is gonna be the brand.
But you can't like force something like that.
Nah, you could try. Look at Tremaine, like he's done something incredible with the cotton weave.
Yeah.
Which was, I feel like, pretty intentional from day one, so.
I've talked to him about that, and he's like, you know, people are so annoyed or saying that it's so repetitive, you know, but it's like, in my mind, that's as much of a signature, or like that's like his monogram in the same way that like the Gucci G's are or the LV stuff is, right?
Definitely, and it's like, it's not always gonna look the same. When you see people making monogram or like Gucci print inspired stuff, it already like gives off tacky because, you know, it's like they're trying to make something that's already been solidified. So brand identifiers of this day and age are gonna be different from those of the 1980s or like the last century, you know?
When I see celebrities wearing this stuff, you know, if I see like Jim wearing it, you know, like, or people wearing it like courtside or whatever, like, are you getting hit up often for like one-of-one, like atelier stuff? And do you guys do that here, or is it more so like if it makes sense, it makes sense, or people are buying it off the shelf?
It's a combination of both. A lot of the time when you see it, it's people just buying it. We believe since day one that we gift and give things to people who are part of our community, who are friends and family, who we know will appreciate it. And not to say that if someone reaches out for something that we might not do it, but I feel like for us, we're so blessed where people actually buy the product that we don't have to do a lot of seeding. But with the one-of-one stuff, that's more so when it comes to like concerts and performances.
Yeah.
And people do hit us up for like one-on-ones now and then.
How often do you dub it?
We don't really.
Okay.
It's more of a thing where it's like they hate the price and it's like, okay.
Yeah. Because you have to develop something from scratch, basically, right?
Yeah, and we don't want to do like just random patches and call it one-on-one. We actually want to make something that's for that person.
Not just like like an elevated piece that would go into one of your stockists, right?
Yeah, we take the time of it, create the art, do what we have to do to make something for someone that they feel is theirs.
You guys are not doing a runway show this season, correct?
Yeah, we only do one a year.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing New York Fashion Week in September.
Okay.
I mean, if any other opportunities arise, maybe overseas, we might think about it, but for right now, it's just like September.
Have you traditionally stuck to New York?
It just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
We're here, we're from New York. We have that presence here. We're one of the brands that people come here to see.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, let's keep it alive. Let's do what we have to do to invigorate New York Fashion Week and have those memories created around like the shows.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like as far as like New York homegrown brands, like you guys are one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
I mean, there's a few of us. It's an interesting time for New York designers. There's a lot of us who have cultivated a scene, like shouts to like Luar, Willie, like those people who've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And like have those in. So, you know, it's an interesting time.
Have you ever been tempted to like move the operation to LA or do production in LA?
LA is great for denim and for jersey. Like I still, to this day, and this is like a tidbit for like any like fashion students or like up and coming designers, fly the jersey in from LA. The French terry, anything you're making your sweaters or hoodies and stuff. Because in the garment district, not a lot of places to get quality like terry for a reasonable amount of money.
I mean, is anyone actually making the textiles in the garment district still, or is there's probably not enough space, right?
Not that I'm aware of. I know there's a lot of like importers. For us, like I feel like LA's cool for like denim, terry. I mean, I'm here though, so I have the people that I work with here, and it works great for us.
Speaking of textiles, so much of your stuff is like super like intricate, super like the fabrics are interesting. How much of the stuff that you're making is off the shelf fabrics that you guys are like distressing or doing yourself versus like proprietary?
Well, I could show you like some stuff.
Like something like this. Is this a proprietary fabric?
It is now, but this is like a ton of stock fabrics that we meld together. We do like the burrow technique, Japanese style, and then we do the distressing. It's something that becomes like our own, but it's like we have like stock fabrics of everything that's within
as like the base and then boring it together?
Yeah.
Is this done in New York?
This is done in here.
Okay, so if you guys get an order for like 4 dozen pairs of these pants, are you borrowing all of it by hand?
Definitely
here?
not.
Okay.
We have suppliers, I won't say where, but we've been working with the same suppliers since we've had Ev Bravado. So they've grown with us like over the last decade. They know what they're getting when we send them our product. Over the years, I've become very particular about the clothes. So if it doesn't look like the original one,
it's not, right?
Yeah. No.
I mean, because you see that all the time, right? Where like a sample or like the runway one looks a certain way, and then you see it like at the store and it's like completely different.
Yeah.
Not with y'all, but just generally.
I mean, I get it, because a lot of the times you're buying like sample fabric. Sometimes you have to switch the fabric for certain things. Maybe mostly like shirting, like flannel, stuff like that. But like, you know, we try to keep it as close to the original as possible. And it is what it is. That's a part of the fashion game.
So 10 years ago, was it difficult to find the suppliers who could do the type of work that you needed?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be myself or like my assistant Tavian, like doing everything. Now I'm blessed to like have the team who knows what's up, or I could source certain things from different places, whereas before I used whatever I could.
Yeah.
Whatever I had to use it.
For stuff this intricate, how much do you have to be on your supplier's ass about it?
They're pretty good.
Like at this point in the relationship?
Yeah, they're pretty good. I have no issues, fortunately, yeah.
I remember one of the last times I talked to you, might have been like Commodore somewhere.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned not simplifying, but just doing less pieces for each collection so you can focus more on them. Is that still kind of what you guys want to do? And what's the thought process behind that?
When we first started the brand, like everything was super intentional and super resourceful, so it was super concise. I'm not saying that our collections are not, because they are.
Yeah.
But I just want a customer to go into a store and feel like, okay, like everything in here makes sense. Also, when you make all these SKUs, it's like, if you don't have like the team to promote all of it, or you don't have like a huge like gifting suite or like whatever the case, things get lost in the sauce. And we just find that like there's so many pieces that we could just like save for the next season, or maybe for 2 seasons, because it's not like fully developed. There was a point where we were just making things to just be like, okay.
To like satiate the buyers from whoever.
Yeah, you know, less is more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a reoccurring like theme for us.
From a business perspective, like a lower SKU count also gotta like make your bookkeeper happy, make like the whole, like that whole side of the company happy, right?
It would.
I think the other thing I wanted to ask you, describe your fit today. No, I'm just
if you could do it, I mean, who decides war doublet, shoes, a nice tee from Luke's.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Did you wear that on purpose?
I did.
Thank you. When you're shopping personally, do you go to like Dover and just like browse and buy shit randomly, or are you more intentional with what you buy? Like,
I do both. There's a few like Virgil, like LV pieces that I'm like hunting down.
I saw you post them the other day.
Yeah, I'm on like Grails, I'm on eBay, I'm on the Japanese Yahoo, like looking for them once a week, twice a week. But then there's like times where like, okay, I need like t-shirts because I'm transitioning into like a new season. I like to have like new t-shirts, hit up Grails, hit up you guys, hit up eBay. But then yeah, I go into the stores, I want to say once a quarter, and just like browse.
I feel like any more than that, there's no point anymore, because they're not flipping shit.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to go to Dover once a month and they had new shit all the time, and now it's like I go back every 3 months and I feel like I still see the same shit. I don't know if something changed or just my perspective on it, you know?
Me and you, as people, like we've come to like really identify like designers as what they do. As we got older, it's like, okay, we know what this is, it's in here. But yeah, I like going into stores and like just perusing, but I feel like a lot of my hunting comes from like just online.
Yeah.
I've seen things online and being like, okay, this is sick. So this is out of the same fabrication that we created. So it's like everyone's like having like a camo moment. So what we decided was to like, all right, like how do we bring like who decides war into that conversation without just being like, oh, they're doing exactly what everyone else is doing.
Or without just like slapping what people perceive as your motif onto a normal camo jacket, right?
So we just really made it really textured with the lace and the distressing, and then you could see the patches, which is the real camo. Yeah, it's just like a thing we developed here. We love the moment that camo's having, but I don't want to like do it how Guillermo's doing it.
Yeah.
Or do it how like Alexander Dejanova's doing it. I want to do it like the way we do it, yeah.
What kind of got you into like the Boro shit? 'Cause I know you mentioned using like the Japanese auction sites. How'd you get into all that?
I mean, it was just like, how do we make like our own textures and like make them whole? When you look at the Japanese, they borrow a lot from us, so it's like kind of reverse borrowing.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel like it's a thing of like stealing or appropriating. They're being influenced from Americana.
That's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
So it's like reverse influence in a sense. For us, it's just like, it's the best way to take everything that we're doing and the hodgepodge of fabrics that we have and like putting it together to make one thing.
Do you see a world where like you do your own flagship?
Yeah, definitely. It's in the plan, it's in the works, but everything takes time. I don't want to rush it. Within the next couple years, for sure.
Would you want to, I mean, obviously in New York.
Definitely.
If you could be in like any neighborhood, where would you put it?
I mean, Soho proper, for sure.
Just want to make sure. I don't wanna, like, assume. Do you have anything else You want to say or show us? No pressure.
I mean, we have some runway stuff. So yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces from the last runway collection.
This is insane.
This is taking inspiration from the old buildings with the columns.
Yeah, let's say it's like a Roman column, right?
So essentially what we did was like we created the columns for the sleeves and then added the texture to the body to have it look like it was a building. Really like getting into like the architectural side of things and garment construction. And that whole last collection was just showing people like, yo, we do this for real.
Yeah.
It's not just like jeans, hoodies, t-shirts. It's like a real world of design that we're into. You know, don't put us in the box. We're not to be put in the box, you know?
This is fucking crazy, man. This is gorgeous.
Thank you. I mean, shout out to the team, you know?
For real.
It's not just me. It's like we have this incredible team that like sees things through A to Z, so we're blessed. But also from the last runway, I'll probably show the Pelle's.
This is fucking sick.
So we're the first brand that Pelle's ever collaborated with, ever.
When did this come out?
This is dropping
Oh, not out yet.
January 25, February 25. This will be like available for purchase.
This is fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
I mean, like this
During that
all
time,
over, like
yeah.
Buchanan, like Pelle is like super iconic.
Yeah, and I wasn't able to like afford any of it. I really like live by that like Virgil quote where he's like, I'm creating for my 17-year-old self. I really feel like I'm doing the same. Even my younger self, where it's like 106 and Park, TRL, and like seeing all this stuff on like Oh Boy, the Dipset.
Yeah, I mean,
they were wearing
I was living
like,
in Virginia, and I remember seeing this shit and thinking it
I was like,
hard.
what is that? And I'm like in 6th grade. I'm like, there's no way my parents are gonna buy me a Pelle.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what it was, you know, it's just like that leather jacket. But I remember being so infatuated by it and the colors and the intricacy. It was like, to have the shot to like collaborate with them, shout out to Christian, Bobby Digital, everyone over there. We made something happen that I'm really proud of.
This is fucking cool. I feel like a lot of the Pelle's I've seen too haven't been the all over stitch ones, like a lot of the newer ones.
We brought that to them. We were like, yo, we want to bring back the all over embroidery because that's something that we're known for, is the embroidery. So it's like, it would make a lot of sense.
It's like the perfect intersection. And it's like, to me, that's like what's iconic about a Pelle and like really makes it stand out from like an Averex or any other like, leather jacket brand.
Yeah, definitely the Mike Buchanan line. And I met him, which was really cool too.
How old is he?
Pretty old. I can't say. Maybe
He's
like
just like
70.
an old white dude?
Yeah.
It's kind of sick.
Yeah.
It's like when you see like Jeff Hamilton, it's like...
Yeah, I see Jeff all the time. Shouts to him. But Jeff is like out here like doing his thing, like running around.
It's just funny, like, for me, seeing these old dudes who are like the same age as my dad, who like, instead of doing what my dad did for a living, they were just at like magic shows every year for like 20 years, like selling shit like this.
Making jackets for Kobe and Michael. It's like,
it's just like
crazy.
such an interesting like life, you know?
We're kind of doing it now, so I'm interested to look back in the next like 20, 30 years and see what this like period from like 2010 to like the early 2020s has been like defined as. I like to call like streetwear renaissance with like V and like Jerry and Ben Trill and like all those guys. It's a really like special part of like fashion history and just history in general.
It's funny you say that because it's true, but as
I don't like to use that word streetwear though, but I'll just say like cultural renaissance.
But I think that is like the best term for it. Like it's like where a lot of that stuff originated, right?
For sure.
It is whether or not.
I mean, it
like
blossomed into something way more
100%.
than that, and that shouldn't be boxed into. I just want to clarify that and qualify that before I move on.
Yeah. I think there's like a stigma around that term or that word, but it's like, you know, it's like what we grew up on.
Yeah, which was Yellow Rat Bastard getting 2 for 30 Stussy tees at that time.
I wasn't even there. Kamal was there. I wasn't there.
Like that.
But I remember seeing it online, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
for me, it was like crazy because like, what, you get 2 Stussy t-shirts for $30?
Yeah.
It was like, what is this? And then we would just go around the corners like Kid Robot and like BBC and like all these things that would, to me, were like the coolest things, like cooler than cool, you know?
I was so envious of everyone in New York during that time because I was like living in Richmond and we had like Up Against the Wall, which was cool and it had all those brands, but it's like to be able to
go to the flagship.
I wanted to go to the fucking stores. Yeah.
I feel it. I look at that time like 2008, 2007. That's like when I got like introduced to Soho. What is this?
Yeah.
I need this. I love this. To now being able to like live not so far away It's like kind of like a dream come true, and to like work in the city and like make clothes. I don't take it for granted.
It's so easy too, especially when you're running and owning a business, get lost in like the minutia, the daily stuff, and like not take a step back and like be grateful for the life you have because you're stressed out about like what's going on at work. You know, at least for me, like it is really nice to like, damn, like I get to like make a living, kind of doing what I want, living in like fucking New York. It's crazy.
It's a blessing, bro, because I like look at my parents and what they had to do to make a living. I'm not saying that it was like bad or anything, but I know they would rather be doing something else. So for them to work to be able to put my brother and myself in a position where we could do what we want to do in life is beautiful. And we can't focus on the negative too much and focus on like the stressors. Of course, like handle them, but they'll pass.
I think that's why you look younger than me.
I'm black.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, black don't crack.
Wow. Thank you so much for letting us come
by, man.
It was really
Easy.
good talking to you.
Yes, always.
See you.
For sure, for sure.
We'll go back to Commodore.